Hi Cowboys, my name is Coach BJ and I will be your football coach for this season. To ensure everybody comes to first practice with the same basic football knowledge, we've put together a few short videos for you to watch. The first video and lesson will cover basic defensive concepts. In this video, we will cover gaps, gap assignments, line of scrimmage, who are the eligible receivers, and a basic 3-4 defensive formation. What is a gap? A gap is the space between or outside of blockers on the offensive line. To illustrate the point, in this picture, you have a standard 5-man line, a center, 2 guards, and 2 tackles. The A gaps is going to be the space between the center and the guards. The B gaps is going to be the space between the guards and the tackles, and the C gaps are going to be outside of the tackles. In this picture, you can see we again have our standard 5-man line, a center, 2 guards, and 2 tackles, but we've added a tight end to the left side. So we're still going to have our A, B, and C gaps, but we've added a D gap to the left-hand side. So what is a gap? A gap is nothing more than the space between or outside of blockers on the offensive line. Now that you know what a gap is, we can explain what a gap assignment is. A gap assignment is nothing more than which gap you are responsible for. In our picture from before, we still have our A, B, and C gaps in the standard 5-man line. You can see that our linebackers are responsible for the A gaps, and these defensive tackles are responsible for the B gaps. So what is a gap assignment? Again, it's nothing more than the gap you are responsible for. Now, I know most of you probably know what a line of scrimmage is, but in order for us to move forward, we have to make sure you understand this definition. So what is a line of scrimmage? It's nothing more than an imaginary line from sideline to sideline where the ball is placed. So in this example, the ball is placed on the 36-yard line. So the line of scrimmage is from sideline to sideline, the imaginary line. That is the line of scrimmage. So again, the line of scrimmage is an imaginary line from sideline to sideline where the ball is placed. Why is it important that you understand the definition of the line of scrimmage? It is important so that we can explain to you who are the eligible receivers on the offense. In a typical offensive formation, there will be 7 men lined up on the line of scrimmage. There can be more than 7, but there must be 7 on the line of scrimmage. In this example, we'll give you 5 offensive linemen and 2 wide receivers, all lined up on the line of scrimmage. Typically, you'll also have a quarterback, and for this example, we'll give you 2 slot receivers and a running back. Now, there are 2 rules to determining who are the eligible receivers in an offensive formation. The first rule is everyone not lined up on the line of scrimmage are eligible receivers. So in the example below, you can see that there are 4 men who are not lined up on the line of scrimmage. Now the quarterback's going to throw the ball, so we're not going to count him in this example, but he is an eligible receiver. But our slot receivers and our running back are eligible receivers. The next rule is on the line of scrimmage, only the 2 outside men are eligible receivers. So with our 5 linemen and 2 wide receivers, the wide receivers are the 2 outside men on the line of scrimmage, and they are the eligible receivers. Now what would happen if we take the slot receiver on the right and move him to a tight end? He would be an ineligible receiver because he is covered up by the wide receiver to his right. We would need to move this receiver off the line of scrimmage to make the tight end an eligible receiver. Now what would happen if we put this wide receiver back on the line of scrimmage and take the wide receiver to the left and move him off the line of scrimmage? We would still have our 3 eligible receivers off the line of scrimmage, and the 2 outside men on the line of scrimmage would still be eligible. So that gives us our 5 eligible receivers in this formation. So what is an eligible receiver? anyone lined up in the backfield or off of the line of scrimmage, and the 2 outside men on the line of scrimmage. What is the 3-4 formation? A 3-4 formation is a defensive formation with 3 linemen and 4 linebackers. To illustrate that point, this picture is of Alabama's typical 3-4 formation. Now, any defensive formation, the personnel can be broken down into 3 categories: defensive backs, linebackers, and linemen. In a 3-4 formation, you have a free safety, a strong safety, and 2 cornerbacks as your defensive backs. You have a Sam or strong side linebacker, a Mike or middle linebacker, a Will or weak side linebacker, and a Jack linebacker. You also have 2 types of linemen, 2 defensive ends, and 1 nose tackle. So in this picture, you can see our 3 linemen, our 4 linebackers, and of course that means we've got 4 defensive backs. The 4th is just outside of the picture. So in this picture, we have a defensive end, a nose tackle, and another defensive end as our linemen. And to understand the linebackers, we must first understand the strong side of the offensive formation. We'll get more into that in the practice, but for now, just know that the left side of this formation is the strong side. So that means our strong side linebacker, or Sam linebacker, is here. We'll abbreviate that with an S. Our Mike, or middle linebacker, is here. We'll abbreviate that with an M. Our Will, our weak side linebacker, is here. We'll abbreviate that with a W. And our Jack linebacker is here, and we'll abbreviate that with a J. We also have a cornerback on the near side, another cornerback on the far side. We have a strong safety, and then again, our free safety is just outside of the picture. So what is a 3-4 formation? A 3-4 formation is a defensive formation with 3 linemen and 4 linebackers. That is the conclusion of Lesson 1, Basic Defensive Concepts. Of course, if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them in the first practice. However, you will be expected to be familiar with this information at the first practice. So if you didn't understand something, please go back and rewatch the video as many times as you need to make sure you have a basic understanding of the concepts explained. We look forward to seeing you at the first practice.